Today's episode, the third part of the photography/camera series, I will be talking about why I don't think you're a photographer if you have a camera or an iPhone. You may be, if you watch this whole episode, you may be discouraged and seeing a lot of people that are better than you, and you think you're not a photographer or a videographer or a YouTuber or a small business owner on a budget. You think you might be a hoax. I really hope that this short podcast/video, if you're watching it on YouTube or listening to it on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, helps you realize how easy it is to excel in something you want to do. It is a little bit of an open-ended rant. I hope this helps you make better decisions moving forward, and I'm going to get this show going. Hey everyone, welcome back to Create More Now, the show that's dedicated to help you create more dynamic content, whether you're a photographer, videographer, YouTuber, or a small business owner on a budget and you're trying to get your message out while making better decisions, while buying gear. That's what I'm here to help you with. Today I have the third episode of my photography/camera series. It's kind of a hybrid that I'm doing here on the podcast and on YouTube as well. You can watch this video live on YouTube. Just search Create More Now, find me, subscribe if you can, please give me some likes. I'd really appreciate it, help get this message out to more people as well. And we're gonna get this started. So forgive me if I'm looking at my iPad a little bit. I'm trying to just make sure I get all my notes covered for this topic. I know it's gonna be a little controversial when you first start listening to it or watching it. I know that when I say that not everyone's a photographer in 2020, it gets some people riled up, and probably for good reason, but I also have some good reasons for saying this. Now, don't be offended. This is really made for anyone that's trying to get into photography and they feel like that they're just not good enough. They feel like you're a small fish in a big pond. And you feel like there's just other people out there that can edit better than you, or they take cooler pictures than you. Well, they're probably not even a photographer, to be honest. And there's a real reason why. And it's not the camera, it's not the edit, and it's not how many likes you get on Instagram. And I'm really trying to dive into that for you today, and make you feel like you really can do this. You know, this is something that I've been doing for 10 years. I really love it, and I want everyone to benefit from it. I want someone that thinks that they're artistic, that can express themselves. You know, you're allowed to do that. There's no reason to get discouraged about it. And I think that after this, it helps anyone that wanted to get into photography then got upset about it. Really just stick with it and really notice that there is a future for them in this field, in this craft, in this art that I love so much. So the actual topic, this is why everyone is not a photographer in 2020. With social media going on, there's just so many people getting decent cameras to improve their content. You know, you can spend $2,000 on a camera and get great content. You can have a new iPhone 11 Pro and have amazing content. I mean, I can shoot fine videos on my 8S and it has a cracked screen, but the camera on the back works, and I can still take great photos and post them whenever I want, and people don't really bat an eye at it. And it's not always about the cameras. People are doing everything they can to get amazing, stunning photos, but it's just not possible for everyone to be a photographer. And really, let's face it, I mean, it's not the camera, it's not the iPhone. Just because you know how to click the shutter, it doesn't work like that. I mean, let's be real. I can run a mile or 2, 3, 4 miles a week, but I'm not a marathon runner. You know, I can buy the nicest shoes, and I'm not a basketball player. I think that's something that people really miss. You know, it's a craft. It's something that people practice at. And just because you bought the first piece of kit or you did the first exercise, it doesn't mean that you're a photographer or you're a marathon runner or you can dunk. Doesn't make you an NBA star. I mean, that's just not how it works. This means, like, if you can take great photos on a camera on your iPhone, great. I mean, that's amazing. But just last week I made a post on Instagram about there's so much more to a photo shoot than getting in front of a camera and getting a great photo and getting your makeup and your hair done. And it's, to summarize it, I basically said a photo shoot is so much more than just getting in front of a camera. It's more than getting your hair and makeup done, like I said, the morning of. It's more than getting likes on Instagram or Facebook. It's the ability for you to show your unique personality, connect with your target audience, leading to sales, new relationships, and like-minded people, while making and spending your time to realize how truly special you are as a business owner. I mean, I am a branding photographer. I'm here to help business owners get their message out through my photos, to get better photos for their website, for their Instagram feed, social media launches, everything they need. I want to be able to provide that content for them. And for me personally, as a photographer, a lot of planning goes into before a photo shoot. I have a call with someone 2 months ahead of time to figure out their brand themes. I figure out their messaging. I figure out what colors we're going to wear, what shirt are we going to wear, what is your vibe, like how are we going to really try to get your own personality on the camera, because it's just so much more than showing up. If you've ever just gone to take photos before and you weren't feeling good, you didn't put some extra effort into it, you didn't put some thought into it, and you just felt like shit on camera and you felt like you looked terrible, well, it's probably because there's that lack of planning, and that's huge. And I think that's what people really miss is like, oh, I have this camera, you'll look great. Or I have this amazing iPhone with portrait mode, you'll look great. And that's not really what it's about, and that's not what will get you there. But this is just going to be such a quick episode. I feel like this was something I just needed to get off my chest. What can get you to actually be a photographer is the tools. I mean, once you have the kit, you just need the actual knowledge and the tools to implement into your craft and get it done. And what are the tools? I mean, there's this thing called the exposure triangle, which I'll be putting an episode out eventually in the future. There's this thing called the rule of thirds, or getting proper composition. That's another thing you can do. Knowing about leading lines in a photo and how you can bring someone's eye through the whole photo. That's humongous. That's giant. I mean, there's so many different little tools. And then to top it off, to be intentional with your photos and be intentional with your edits, instead of just buying a pack of presets and clicking through them and figuring out which one looks the best. I mean, there's not a whole lot to it. I didn't want to come on here and start this whole rant about saying if you have a camera, you're not a photographer, because that's not true. I mean, I think you could be very, very, very easily. It might only take you 4 hours on YouTube to figure it out. It might take you one private course you buy from someone online to figure out how to use your settings and manual. I don't know. It's up to you. But I think a lot of people, when they get to the point where they think they can take good photos, which you probably do take good photos, they're probably beautiful. But if you're not intentional with it and you're not able to really understand how you're going to make something and how you're going to create it, like if you're a painter and you don't know how to stack your layers on a canvas and really know how things dry and blend, you might not be a successful painter. But you know how to paint. You have brushes. It just takes time. It just depends on everything takes time. You have to know the skills. You have to know how you can really implement and be intentional with your direction. And once you start to get these basics down, you can start to be educated and make better decisions on your photos. Then you can really start to call yourself a photographer, like I've been saying. This can take you a week of YouTube videos. Like I said before, watch some online courses or sign up at a local college. I mean, once you start to understand these things, and it's not difficult. I'm not saying you're not a photographer because you've been put in 10 years of work like I have. Fuck that. Take you 3 weeks. I don't know. It's just so simple once you start to be intentional and learn these different skills and get these different tools on your belt, that I will personally call you a photographer, and I think everyone else in this field will. It's always going to be more than a camera. It's going to be more than an iPhone. I think you don't even need a camera anymore. I keep saying iPhone photography in this episode. I've been saying it in past ones. That's really all you need. A good friend of mine, her name's Casey. She lives in Denver, Colorado. She's in a group of mine that I'm a part of. We get coached in. She was taking great photos for months and months and months, and I followed her, and I was like, wow, you're doing great. And then one day she bought a camera like mine. She bought a Z6, and I said, what the hell were you shooting on before? And she said her iPhone. And I was like, wow. And then 3-4 weeks later, she's like, oh, I got my first computer ever to edit on. And I was like, well, what were you editing on before? And she said, my iPhone. I was editing photos on my iPhone. Like, it's not the gear you have. She was just really good and really, really, really amazing at being able to be intentional with what she wanted to do. She had a direction. She was able to plan a shoot. and execute and edit it all from her iPhone. I mean, that's amazing. We're in 2020. It's not always about the gear. It's not about this fancy light I have. I don't have a fancy backdrop behind me. I'm not a great YouTuber, oh well. But I think with my message and with my delivery and understanding of YouTube algorithm, I probably could become a successful YouTuber because I know the tools. That's really it. I mean, whenever you're getting started in anything, it's just understanding those basic fundamentals to get something going, getting something set up. And once you can build on that, you have a solid foundation, the sky's the limit. I mean, you know, Empire State Building is as tall as it is, Sears Tower is as tall as it is, and they have a very, very, very solid foundation underneath those skyscrapers. And that's really all I can say. I hope someone that watched this that was kind of discouraged about becoming a photographer or trying to excel in something they really wanted to get started in, actually watched or listened to this all the way through. Although it is short, it's only, what is it, about 10 minutes or so. I really hope someone has been able to follow through with this episode and just understand that once you can just dedicate a little bit of time and figure out those basic principles that will make you successful, everyone will follow you. Everyone will give you that credit and that success that you truly deserve. And if you don't, and you're doing really good at winging it, more power to you, because I really hope you can keep winging it and keep being successful and eventually make a living out of winging it, because that's what I want to do. And I hope you can too. So that's all I have for you guys today. If you haven't joined yet, please join the Create More Now Insiders group on Facebook. Go to www.facebook.com/Create More Now Insiders, or just search it on the Facebook search bar. Join the group. I'd love to have you. I'm going to be doing live streams in there again. I'm really trying to get everything moving on the Facebook page for everyone again. Like I said on the last episode, it has been a little bit busy for me, but we're getting it going. We're getting everything back in shape. You know, COVID's lightening up here in Florida. I'm starting to go back into my office, so I'm getting commuting times put back on my schedule and just trying to figure out my new normal again for about the third time in 2020. Hope you guys are staying safe out there. I hope you're able to get more content out and just get rid of this pesky headaches that come by when you're learning new things. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is Jake with Create More Now. Bye.